Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're returning to Sports, thanks for tuning in, and if you are seeing this channel for the first time, thanks for being here. You're amazing. So today I'll be talking about a question I get asked a lot of times in the DM. Maybe not lots of times, but don't let me come and start talking like an influencer that I am not. So maybe not lots of time, but I've gotten asked this question a few times in the DM, enough for me to decide to make a video about it. And it is how I was able to survive, the long wait that led to the process of jackpotting, that long process of jackpot, how I was able to survive that long wait. And when we left Nigeria, it was not this bad. Nigeria was not this bad. So I know that if you are, in your jackpot process and you're in Nigeria right now, I can, to an extent have an idea, imagine how you're going through. And I want to, at this moment, I want to say, keep holding on. Our wait was actually long. And I just hope your wait is not so long anymore, or it's not as long as you've been waiting before. So yeah, I'll just start by telling you the backstory, where we started this journey from, and the things that led to finally moving and all that, and the things we did that helped us to survive the wait, so to say. Because I know that right now UK seems kind of fast, but there are still some other people that says they don't want to go to UK even though it's fast. I think they say it's more expensive. I think I actually have a few friends that have gone to UK, and it seems like it's quite expensive, more than Canada. So even though UK seems to be fast, some people are still trying to come to Canada. And sometimes when you compare the waiting period, Canada seems to be more, the wait period for Canada seems to be more than UK and US. I think US is also they also have like a pathway right now, but I'm not sure. So I'll just tell you what where we started this journey from. And we started this journey, maybe not this journey, but the idea, the thoughts of leaving the country came into my head in 2015, and I think we were just about a year or 2 years married. And I think this thought came because I had a friend that we were in training school together. If you had been on this channel, you would know that I was a banker before I left Nigeria. So I was in training school with this lady, like the bank's training school, and then we went to different branches after training school, but we still kept communication and all. So there was a time I was chatting, and I don't know how I discovered, but I just had that feeling that she had left the country. And then when we got talking, she said she had left, so like she was no longer in the country, she had relocated. I was like, oh, so give me gist now, how did thing be, how to do it, what do you come and show me the way. And she relocated to the US. But for her husband had left to the US for his master's, I think just shortly after they got married or before they got married, but she went through her husband to the US. So I was like, so what is she started telling me about student pathway, because that was how her husband went and all that. And then we tried getting into that thing we used to do, that we used to say we want to go to US to do vacation, and some of my we just go vacation. We tried that actually. Fortunately, because I'll say fortunately, because even when we were going for that interview, I was like, this is not what I wanted. And fortunately for us, we didn't get that visa. Till today, anytime we talk about it, I'll say maybe it was my bad energy. Because when we went for that interview, I was just like, no, this is not, even though I desire so much to travel, this is not how I wanted to go. And so to today, I still say it's my bad energy that spoiled, because there was nothing that could, I don't know, but I still felt like I had bad energy that day. So that was how that went. And I don't know, maybe it was that experience of my husband had always been, today is let us relocate, tomorrow is like, no, let us wait, So at some point we just felt like, okay, let's just leave this thing, let's just focus on living in Nigeria. And then again we started again in 2017, and for me it was just a desire. It was not like I went to God to ask him, should I relocate or should I not relocate. I don't go to ask him, where do you want me to go or where do you not want me to go. I've seen some videos about people saying that even before they got married, years before they actually relocated, God told them they were going to relocate. For me, it was just a desire. It was just I wanted to relocate. But I think it would be a lot easier for you. It would make the journey easier if you just get God's mind. And that's the first thing. So that was not the first thing I did, but that's the first thing I think will help you in the long process, in the long wait. You know, when you get God's mind about what the relocation is, where should you go? For me, I don't know where I don't know. I was just doing this one, anyone that enters. But I don't think that's what God wants for us as his children. You know, he wants to direct us if we allow him. So I think the first thing you should do, well, maybe now you're already on the process to come to Canada and all. It is still not too late to ask God for, because something I've realized is your location determines a lot about your success in life. People might be going to a place and succeeding, and if that's not where God's plan is for you to succeed, you might go there, and even with all the resources around you, God would not allow us to go to where we will not succeed. But the fact is, even if things around you are good and all that, it doesn't mean that if people, like a lot of people are going somewhere, because the fact is, even in Canada, I know that some people are not living their best lives in Canada. Some people are wishing they are back in Nigeria because they were living better lives in Nigeria than they are here in Canada. You don't want to be in that position. So I think the first thing you should do, even though that was not what I did, but it will help your journey, to seek God's face about your relocation plans, about your relocation, you know, desires. Until desire came for my husband, until he also was ready to relocate, I did not pray about, you know, some people will say because their husband does not want to relocate, they started praying that God should change his mind. I didn't pray. It was just by himself. He just decided, okay, I think it's time for us to start this relocation process. So I think you should just start by praying to God to direct you. Which is it? This country, this is the country you are thinking of going. Is it the country he wants you to go to? Is it the country he wants you to, you know, that you are going to succeed in? Because if the Lord directs the path of a man, everything will fall in place. I'm telling you. So I think the first thing you should do is seek God's direction about your relocation plans. And I'm also trying not to, you know, make this so much about relocation. You know, all of us are in one waiting period or the other of our lives, and so this might also be useful for you in other parts of your life that you are waiting. So whatever part of your life that you are waiting on God for something, and it seems like the process is long, it seems like the process is delayed, I think you should go back to God and seek his face about that thing. What is he saying about whatever it is you are waiting on him for? Whatever, a child, marriage, a new job, a new career, whatever it is, your relocation. The first thing I think you should do, even at this point that you have started the process, you're already married, you are waiting on God for a child, you are already old, you are waiting on God for a spouse, the first thing right now is stand first is to go to God and ask him to direct you, like lead you. And I don't know, you people that you need a prophet that will tell you what God is saying. I don't know how you used to do it, because it's not all the time that you have access to prophets. And so one of the things I encourage, I don't know if I've been encouraging it enough, is that you should have a personal relationship with God, whereby God speaks to you, whereby you're able to, you know where it's leading you to. What is he saying to you part time? It is very, very important to know what God is saying to you part time. So what is God saying about relocation, about Japa? What is God saying? Even God understands what Japa means, because he knows all languages. So go to him and ask him, what is he saying? Even though I started this journey without asking God which country, where are we going to and all that, at some point I realized I needed to go to God, because I did not understand the thing. If you saw this video, I told you there about how, you know, at some point we were rejected, then we had to reapply again and all that. I went to God to ask him, is this journey, should we stop it? Like, is it something you want us to do? I got Bible references, you know, that told me what God is saying about the matter. And even in the long process, as long as it was in the old long wait and all that, because I think we started in 2017 or thereabouts, and we didn't get to relocate on 2021 because COVID happened, different things, and it was just, you know, what it was. So at some point I was like, is it what we should do and all that? I got Bible, I got God's responses that I kind of, you know, and of course I wrote them down. So I go back to those things to say, okay, so this is what God said, even though I've not seen it. And faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? So even though I'm not saying it right now, I have faith that God has said it. He has said it. I believe it, and that settles it. So once you know what God is saying about that matter, about the relocation, about whatever it is you are waiting for. I think it's kind of, even though as human beings, it still gives us sleepless nights sometimes. Like, God said this thing is going to happen. When is it going to happen exactly? Gongo, no. Yes, like exactly the date and the minutes and the hour. The same way some of us are waiting for Jesus Christ to return. I mean, like, can't answer. So how many thousand years ago? They say it's coming back. When exactly is it going to? So sometimes we want to know when exactly, but God is God. He does not tell us when exactly most times. And so, but the fact that you've heard, like, he has told you, he has directed you to say, this is what, okay, the relocation is, yes, is something I want you to do, something I'm directing you to. Okay, once he's directing you to it, and you're every step of the way you're asking him to direct you, what should we do? What is the next thing? Which path should we take? And even as much as I think I also shared in one of our relocation vlogs that how we asked God about where to send our passport to. Like, there was, I don't know how that thing just took our peace. Like, where? Some people were sending to Cairo, some people were sending to Egypt, some people were sending to UK, I think. We said we wanted to send to Accra, and people were running away from Accra. And I was like, I was so bothered about it, and I went to pray. God said Accra is Accra, and Accra was like, it was sweet, like the same 4 weeks every other person that sent was taking, the same 4 weeks our own Accra took. And you know, just every step of the way you're asking God to direct you. And of course, I'm telling you from experience, right, that when you ask God to direct you, He is going to direct you. And his direction will give you peace, even though sometimes the devil might want to give you lies to say, as God said it. Did God really say that you should not eat the apple? We don't know if it's apple, right? Did God really say you should not eat the fruits in the midst of the garden? Did God really say you're going to relocate? Did God really say you're going to have children? Did God really say you're going to get married? Did God really say you are going to be happy in this life? This life is just to serve God, it's not to be happy. Sometimes the devil tells us all kinds of lies, but you know, writing down, you know, having what God is saying about our journey in life kind of helps us, you know, to still be able to go through the journey. So the next thing that helped us was live your life like that thing is not going to come. Am I contradicting myself that I said, okay, God has said it will happen? I'm not contradicting myself. I'm just saying, you know, there's something that is called enjoying your life while on your way to where you want to be. Something like that, Sha. And I think I read that in one of Joyce Meyer's book, and it is about, even though you are not where you want to be, you've not gotten that job yet, you don't have children yet, even though you've been waiting for 5 years, you've not gotten your PR card yet, even though you have written health how many times, you've not gotten this, you've not gotten that. Enjoy your life while you are, you know, on that journey. Enjoy your life. If there are parties, wedding parties to are not wide parties, so on this channel we are children of God, right? If there are wedding parties, if there are, you know, parties, there are social events to attend social events. If there are friends to be made, make those friends. If there are things you want to do, if there is a land you want to buy the land, as long as it's not affecting your POF. If there are investments to make those investments. If there's a new business you want to start it. Yes, start it, because, you know, I remember that there was one of the testimonies that someone shared in church was about how she was almost close to coming to Canada, and then there was an opportunity for her to expand her business. And she was like, okay, should I expand, should I not expand? I'm leaving soon. But God told her, expand the business. And even though she's there in Canada, her business that she expanded before she left Nigeria is still booming. So if there are businesses to start the business. Live your life like, well, God has said it will come. It will come at God's own time. Right now, that it has not come, I am going to live my life that like it is never going to come. Of course, you know it is going to come, but you don't want to be miserable. You don't want to be, you know, live a miserable life while you are waiting for that blessing. Because the time you lose living that miserable life, you are never going to recover it. I can tell you that for free. The time you know, are miserable, you know, not being functional at your job, the time you are miserable, you know, being frustrated with your kids and passing aggression to the poor children that they were not the ones that sent you to go and apply to Canada. You know, the time you waste being miserable, you can never recover it. So live your life, enjoy your life, do the things that you need to do. Just live. Like, the child will come if God has said is going to give you the child. Don't worry. Then there's no need to worry. The child will come. Your PR card is coming. If it's student visa you want to use to come, that visa you will get it. The school will accept you. The funds that you need to run all those things will come. As long as, number one, the first step, you get God's mind, you get his direction for every step of the way. You know that during this process, it will feel like God has forsaken you at some point. Like it's like some other people are getting testimonies and you're not. Just remember that when Jesus Christ was on the cross, he also felt like God had forsaken him. And of course, you know that God did not forsake him. Can God forsake you? Can God forsake himself? And of course, the same way God cannot forsake himself, he's not going to forsake you, his child. So even though you are going through this now and it's like God has forsaken you, just remember that on the cross, Jesus Christ said, God, God, why have you forsaken me? And of course, you know, it is not possible for God to forsake himself. And it is not possible for God to forsake his children. So even though you are passing through this right now, God has not forsaken you. Another thing that helped us, guys, was joining groups. Join groups of people that also want to japa. And like I said, there are groups. Join groups. Be active in, like, even when you are gisting with people, some of the groups I joined was from gisting with people. Like I would just be gisting and they'll be like, so, like for example, for me that was in the bank, some people will come to do some transactions that will be obvious that this transaction, what's up? Are you planning to travel? And from there we'll start talking about, oh yeah, so I'm planning to travel. Me too. It's like I'm thinking, even though you're not just thinking, you have gone past the level of thinking. But you're like, we don't know this person yet. Let's just tell the person that we are just thinking. Me too, I'm thinking of traveling. Is there any group? How have you been getting information? It's from, offline interactions that I was able to join most because from one group you will now be able to join another one, and that's how you join groups. And so joining groups helped us because from there we could see timelines of other people. We could see that, okay, this person is like, they submitted their application in September. Okay, our own we submitted in November. Okay, it's like they got this medical request. Very soon too we will get medical requests. So joining groups kind of helps you to, see other people's pace, and helps you to know, okay, it's like it's almost coming. And sometimes they even jump. Somebody in November can get medical requests, then somebody in September can still be waiting. So it's not like it must follow sometimes, but it's kind of give you that hope, because okay, you can see the process. How do I apply this to other people that are also waiting for one thing or the other? Be active in groups, in churches. Be active. If there are groups to join to help you like achieve what you want to achieve, if there is a LinkedIn for you to create a profile, if there is a church unit for you to join, if there is a prayer unit for you to join, to ensure that there are people of the same of the same mind that can help you through this journey, please join those groups. If there is a prayer meeting, there's an hallelujah challenge to join, please join the hallelujah challenge. If there is a prayer meeting for Tolulope Solutions that pray for mothers in waiting, please join those prayers. It's kind of helps you meet people that are also going through the same thing you are going through. And of course, you are like, okay, God is also working things out for this. In such groups you get testimonies and you're encouraged. So that's how that works for people that are also waiting for something apart from Japa. One other thing that we did was pray, and pray. Because the fact is, as much as God has said it, as much as we are joining groups, as much as we are doing all these things, as much as we are living our lives, we should also remember that Daniel prayed, and for 21 days, one prince of Persia was laying his blessing. So we need to pray that every power that is delaying our jackpot journey blessing, every power that says this jackpot will not be our own, Holy Ghost fire them away. Yes, pray. Pray until your joy is full. That's what the scripture says. So until your joy is full, until you actually get what you are looking for, keep praying. Sometimes it is Thanksgiving, and that's why I said just go through this journey with God directing you. Sometimes you just say, thank you, Father, for this PR card that I have gotten in faith. Sometimes it is worship, it is praise about that thing you are waiting for that you want to do. Thank you for my baby. You have named your baby, you know. Thank you for this job I've gotten. Thank you for my spouse. Thank you for my wedding day. Even though husband have not show face, even though you don't know the person that you proposed to yet as a man, but you're saying thank you to God. You know, pray, whether it is prayers of thanksgiving, whether it is prayer of warfare, Holy Ghost fire. Just pray. So these were the things we did that was able to help us, you know, during how many years was it? Because there was one that we got rejected after 11 months, you know. You need to go and watch that video. I'll put the link. After 11 months, our application was rejected. So you know that then we started again and all that. So these were the things we did that helped us through this journey. I hope this encourages somebody in your waiting period to know that even though Jesus said, God, while on the cross, he said, God, why have thou forsaken me? This is just to encourage you, to tell you that God has not forsaken you and he is working things out for you. Keep holding on to him. Keep trusting. Your jackpot journey, you're going to share testimony with me. I'm going to dance. And for everyone that's been sharing testimonies with me in the DM, thank you so much, because sometimes some of those testimonies come at a time when I'm like down, I'm like tired. I just see a testimony, I'm like, Father Lord, thank you. The way I'm happy for those testimonies, you think is my, you know, it's somebody I know like directly, but you people, team sports, you're my family members too, and I'm glad to hear your testimonies. It gladdens my heart. So keep sharing the testimonies, you know. Keep sharing. Until we see you in the next video, guys, have a beautiful life. Bye.